Hold on. Yeah. Well, I'm commanded to speak on something, so I shall. Because one, I can perceive how the devil is going to block and try and dissuade a prodigal from returning to their Lord. So the little techniques to guard against what you're going to come against, I've perfected. Because I've dealt with it with Mary, the same exact thing. So I have my own tactics and techniques. But here's what I try and tell the prodigal, and then what you're dealing with. Until they realize their issue. We've been doing it for like 3 years though, so being consistent. Let me roll my C.S. Lewis cigarette here. Mary was kind of like, I want the one that listened to worship music. I want the one that read the Bible all the time. I want this version of you because your spirit keeps switching. And I've just been like, no, that's not what happens. Your issue, first of all, is you need to be hearing from God, and to hear from God, you have to be with God. So it's not really something you're gonna combat with words. You plant the seeds, but you're not gonna win the argument. They have to come to that conclusion that only comes with experience of understanding that utilizing the scripture for their life still has to come with being with Jesus while he leads them to that scripture. So also Mary and a lot of people stopped believing the Bible, and they started not understanding the great delusion and the deception was brought on by God himself. He allowed it, sent it. For a specific personal reason, which was he didn't want his name used in vain anymore. The Lord told me this, using his name in vain, if that's not actually what's happening. So this is as real as it gets, and I kept telling her that too. Also, what we stated, the amount of time that you spent away from your kingdom spouse is the amount of time you spent away from God himself. And people weren't really understanding. Yeah. That they were the aggressors. We kept telling Mary, you're not the victim, you're the aggressor. But when you delve deeper into it, um, they really saw false visions. They really heard false statements. When you actually have my spirit, and this is what I was trying to prevent with a lot of people, it's inevitable that you're going to be sabotaged because of the tactics of the enemy. It was inevitable you're going to end up by yourself, still in that position of, okay, I'm waiting on you, Lord. It was inevitable. There was no way around it because people weren't spiritually awake. It was this new thing that just came across the earth. The kingdom of heaven is here. So many weren't prepared for it, and those that are prepared now, it still took minimum 3 years for them to understand and to accept their role, mold them, nurture them, pour into them, bring them closer. The intimacy that we have, it's completely different than a religious spirit or something that we understood. There would be tears. So dealing with these issues like this, they're not. They are not Christians. That's easy. The church became a extension of the dragon through the system of the beast. So it's something we stopped doing. We did not send anyone into the church. We didn't raise up anybody inside the church. We've been trying to pull people out into their purpose and their calling. I can slow down a bit and just look at your life, how you feel, how you understand things. Where do you get your food from? Who has the viewership? Who's actually being listened to across the earth? And how is God's messages being delivered? Through actual servants that speak his words. And that was a huge problem that we had. So the end is the end. It was like, this is the last day. And we had a lot of people come up against that, not understanding that that wasn't ever not known to the Lord, that his spirit would seem different and foreign to you. So people without discernment, like Mary, looking at how your life has diminished since you left your kingdom marriage would be your first clue. Blaming someone else would be an indication of a demonic oppression. If you think it's God blaming someone, then the intimacy you have is not with me. Because most of my people just kind of wait. They're like, well, the Lord's going to vindicate me. Well, the Lord's going to do it his special way. It's going to be a learning experience and a next step and a part of my testimony, and it's all going to connect and be poetic. I know how, to an extent, God does things. So I'm telling your prodigals now, no, you are the problem. I do not change, and I have already told you how you'll be saved and how you will feel better and what your next step will be. And many of you, 3-4 years, you have not taken that step. I said, you're not going to get your next instructions until you reconciled your marriage. I said, I, the Lord, at the appointed time, will make this happen. So it's happening.